Good evening. Welcome everyone to the May 11th District 6270 Treasurers webinar. My name is TJ Rinaldi. I am your district trainer. With me on the line hanging out tonight is Assistant District Trainer Victor Frazier. Want to say hi, Vic?
Hello, everybody.
And so far, everybody's just a few. I've unmuted you guys, and so I see there's John, there's Kathleen. At any rate, you guys can go ahead and chime in if you want. Normally I mute everybody and go through a bunch of information in the beginning, then we open it up after, but since this is a small group tonight and we do these every quarter, I should let you know. You guys just go ahead and chime in. If you have a question and you need to interrupt me, go right ahead. Couple housekeeping items as we get going here. You have 5 handouts that I provided for you on your GoToWebinar Citrix platform. Everything I'm going to go over tonight that's not online is available for you in these handouts. So feel free to go download those, and also you can just see them on my screen as we go through. And so with that, we can get right into the nitty-gritty. So I want to direct everyone to Rotary.org, which is going to be where you'd start with, how to identify with the position of treasurer. We're doing webinars now quarterly for both officer positions of treasurer as well as secretary. I want you to know that the next webinar that's going to be available for you will be June 20th. That'll be for secretaries. And then the next treasurer webinar that fits into next quarter will be July 18th. So that's June 20th for secretary, July 18th for treasurer. I put together a bit of a cheat sheet, help sheet, instruction sheet for you that we can talk about here as we get into the Rotary portal. What we're going to do tonight is familiarize yourself with the description. So I'd like to get an idea here of who on the call has what experience. In other words, I want to know if you could chime in so I can gear this properly for you to help you tonight. Are you currently a treasurer, going to be a treasurer, just trying to get information? Are you another office? Could whoever's on the call chime in? Let me know. Right? Nobody wants to offer. Well, that's fine. So let me just explain that these webinars are really geared for anyone, okay? So anyone from the club can glean more information on really what it takes for the club to operate through this position as treasurer, okay? So, you may be a PN, president nominee. You may be a president-elect going to take office here in just a couple months, in late June. You may be a secretary. Now, mind you, some clubs actually operate as where they're smaller and operate where they have a secretary and a treasurer together. So this topic for tonight is just for treasurer, but that doesn't mean that you can't ask questions about other as well. I'm just trying to gear it for whoever's on the call and can get some help. I see a couple other people chiming in or the logging in here. Normally I mute you guys. I just want you to know normally I mute you, but I've got you unmuted right now. So if you need to chime in, go right ahead. If it gets noisy, I will mute everybody. So familiarizing yourself with the job description, we're going to do that. I wanted to give you a little bit of to-do items for right now. And then finally looking ahead, what's going to happen as you take office here in July, or if you're currently wrapping things up, or just trying to get information because somebody asked you, hey, do you want to be a treasurer, and what do I do about that? If you have kind of the deer in the headlights look, that's totally fine. That's why we're here tonight. And so first things first, how are you going to find out what your responsibilities are? Okay. let me direct you to our Rotary website, because you would want to sign into my Rotary, and you'll do that right here. If you haven't logged in, gotten a password, please do so. That's where you would start. Now, I want you to know that everybody's portal is a little bit different based on the classification that you may have been given. Here's what I mean. You're going to go in and see a number of things you can do, options you have to study, and you can go into your Club Central. You can do all kinds of things here. But for tonight, we are going to use the Learning and Reference section, and we are going to learn by a club role, which is, as the website catches up with us, treasurer. So when you click on there, it's going to give you a plethora of knowledge through your own page. So you're going to be able to log into the Club Central to pay the invoice. You can use these links right here, or you could manage your club through club administration. That was the other place I wanted to show you. Now, if you haven't been designated as a club treasurer, you may not be able to enter those certain values. You may not be able to use the page as you're supposed to. And so I encourage you to log in, find out how you're classified, just as a regular member, club officer, what have you. If you're not a club officer, please have your president or whoever's in charge of the tech support for the club, whoever that may be, have them classify you as treasurer. I'm not sure if only one person can be classified as that, but if for some reason you can't be, have them classify you just as club officer, and you should be able to have all the privileges necessary to pay the dues and work within the office that you need. Okay, so if you need to define what your job description might be, it's here. You could click the link. I did put that in your handouts for you, and we can actually look at that now. It's a one-page document here that I put in there for you. As I said before, you have 5 different handouts you can download. We will go through these. Mind you, anytime you have a question, just chime in. Normally we wait till the second part of the webinar, but tonight we're small. We do these frequently enough now that we can give more personalized help, I'm very happy to say. It looks like somebody is trying to chat here. Oh, can you show how to find out online your assigned role? Is it under setting? So why don't we log in, before I get into your responsibilities, let's log in as me. And if I were to go to my Club Central, let's see here. So manage. Well, we can go right to Rotary Club Central from there. Let's see. Let's see what they give me. I should be designated as a district trainer, which means my view would be different than yours. Okay, so here we have the club. You'll see my designation. I'm with the Watoma Club, which is in the way northwest corner of the district. So I'm in central Wisconsin, even though we are a southeast Wisconsin district. It's going to give you data here. Let's see what it's going to show me here. So, for example, if I wanted to edit, it's going to let me do this. So I must be classified as an officer. See, I'm probably not able to, let me look in here. Yeah, I would have a district view. Your links on the left would be different depending on what you've been classified as. I'm not sure it's actually going to show me what I'm designated as, but because I can edit my information here, they probably do have me designated properly to do that. You should try that to see if you can put that. Notice what I can't do is input the pay the invoices. You won't even see it on my portal. So I hope that answers your question, whoever asked that. All right, moving back to I wanted to show you this part here. So responsibilities, what is it you're going to do? I wanted to give attention to this line items because attending any of the assemblies that are out there are very, very important for any of the officers. I know we say, hey, we're having a fall seminars or spring assemblies. There's going to be a district conference coming up in like 3 weeks. Yes, these are all important for we as members, as Rotarians, but they're even more important for the officer positions. Why? You're going to be able to rub shoulders with other people from clubs of your demographic. Not only that, clubs that might be larger as well. You can find out how they do, what they do, and it might be beneficial for you to, get little tidbits, little nuggets that you can do your office better. Now, I'll get into this in a little bit, but one of the best ways to really learn something is to teach it, right? And so planning succession is something I'm going to touch on later. You want to give yourself an opportunity to be able to groom the next person that's going to fill your shoes. Hopefully the person that brought you in was able to do that for you, and you would then be expected to do the same. If you didn't have that luxury, please afford that luxury to the next guard, as you can make your club better and better year after year if you're able to teach your role. So attending trainings are so very important. Obviously, you're going to maintain accurate records. Hopefully, most people are doing this electronically at this point. We pay our dues electronically. We can submit the taxes electronically if we need to. We can, update goals electronically. So many things are done that way. Doesn't mean you're still not going to be a great treasurer if you're keeping longhand books, but I do encourage you because of how RI is moving in their agendas. I'll let you know that they don't even have an enrollment form anymore. They want you to do it all online, which is interesting. They don't even have the form available anymore, which means you'd have to kind of make your own. But consider how someone is doing their job maybe before you. Consider who you're bringing into the club, and if into the position of treasurer, and perhaps they aren't as astute with digital media, aren't as astute with QuickBooks or some other type of accounting software. Well, you'd want to start to train them on that. Keeping records is very important. Again, if you have an easy way to do that through some of these accounting programs, it can make the jobs of everyone else so much easier. You wouldn't need to report to the president with so much data, with so much attention to detail if they can go in there just the same and get what they need. Mind you, you're going to be acting like the president's chief of financial staff. That's going to be really your role. If you could think about that as I'm going through these points, you are going to be the go-to person on that for them to be able to answer questions, and not only the president, but then don't forget, and it depends how your club is organized, but don't forget the fundraising committees and the membership committees, and every person in the club could potentially be coming to you with questions about how they can do we have a budget for that, or what's going on with that. Obviously, you're going to be maintaining a budget. I did include there's a spreadsheet you can link to. I included it as a PDF in one of your handouts. And how did I get to it? Basically, right through. I'm going to get out of Club Central here. I got to it through that page. So I'll go back in and show you where I get that. So again, we'll go back into my Rotary. I'm going to do this again because I want you to be familiar with this. And learning and reference, learn by role, club roles, and treasurer. So we log into treasurer, and they give you a sample Excel budget sheet right here. So you would click there. There will be a budget worksheet. It looks like this. Those of you who are accountants will be very familiar with this. If you're not an accountant, I'm not an accountant. I'm just a lowly chiropractor. But you'd be able to see what did we think last year would do, what actually happened last year. Were we in the red? Were we in the black? and what should we do moving forward? These are great, logical ways to look at what you're going to be doing as a whole. Of course, these line items can all be broken down into, into the respective committees. Okay, we talked about managing the club and project funds, paying bills for them. We touched on that a little bit. Many people coming to you for that. You're going to be working to manage any grants that you guys want to write. We just went through the certification process for the next year's district grants. 2 people every year from each club need to be represented, and I believe a $25 per capita from the club donation to the foundation is necessary to write district grants, which are a maximum of $3,000, but you can write as many grants as you want, and you would be working pretty closely with the writers of those if you're not writing one yourself. Making sure the club follows its budgets. You're going to develop the budgets, and I'm sure that you would want to be working with your executive board on those. Of course, when you have your board meetings, you'll then be giving the monthly reports. I could tell you that in our club, for example, our treasurer does sort of work as secretary and sort of runs the meeting itself. That doesn't mean that you can't have a treasurer present, a secretary present, and then the president running the meeting as well. It just depends how the club is organized, how you guys like to do it. What the president's, remember you serve as their chief of staff, what the president's preferences are on that. You're going to be providing regular financial updates at the board meetings we talked about, planning the budget, okay. Now, handing all records over to the incoming treasurer. There are a number of clubs in the district, and we have 54 clubs. There are a number of clubs where the treasurer is on hand for many years. Though this sounds logical in smaller clubs where some one person really has a grip on the kind of job, I don't recommend it. I recommend that there should be a changing of guard, and that it should be changed regularly, whether it's every year, every 5 years, like a term or something like that. And as a trainer, I recommend that because you're going to give better depth to your club and what your club can do. So many different people have so many different strengths. There's many different classifications represented in each Rotary club, and we all have different gifts that we can offer. I'll touch on that a little bit more later, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is that some sort of even flow, some sort of way that people are coming into positions and then out of positions to go focus their energies in other facets of the club business really is going to create over the years a well-rounded club. It doesn't burn people out, which is very important as a trainer. That's one of the things that we come into notice quite often is re-engagement of members. What causes people to become future ex-Rotarians? Well, I've got a whole big list, and I can tell you every item on there. One of the biggest of which is staying in the same role too long and actually getting burnt out with it because you start getting into the idea, well, we've always done it this way. We've always done it this way. So I'm going to poo-poo this new effort we're going to make, this new project we're going to do. It's harder for me to keep track of it. We all think, well, I'm versatile. I can do this. I can handle most things. But it's almost like just automatic. These things start. These self-talk starts happening in our brains, and before you know it, we're the weak link in the chain when the club wants to move forward, and it basically means we have to do our job differently, and we don't want to do that. So be careful with that, please. Detailed annual report at the end of the Rotary year. That report can get input into the club goals. It can get input through Club Central. You can just present it to your executive board. Remember, the Rotary year is about to end. Our Rotary year starts July 1st. And so that's when the changing of the guard is happening in late June. And just remember that there are 2 times that that RI is really going to be a checkpoint for you as a treasurer. As you're paying the dues, for example, you're going to pay them on how many people belong in the club, and they're going to do that first time on July 1, and then next half of the year, January 1. So remember that when updating who's who in the club, how they're classified, that's really going to determine how you're going to be paying dues. Because whatever values are input into there, RI is going to tell you that you owe or you don't owe for those people. I know that some clubs take advantage of what are called corporate memberships, where you might actually have 3 people who are representatives of that business, but they count as one Rotarian. So it just depends how you have them classified and how they pay the dues. My club, for example, does take advantage of that. It's a great way to build the club. If you're not an accountant, it says here perhaps you'd want to have that reviewed by a qualified accountant. I suggest it, yes. And then don't forget you are going to be filing your club's taxes as well. So these are all the biggest responsibilities you're going to have. If you wanted to get into then, how is it I'm going to do the nitty-gritty through my year? We go back to your page within My Rotary. It's got all your resources, reference, different tools. We talked about the budget worksheet, but I wanted to bring attention to this document, Lead Your Club. I have it as a handout for you as well. And it's basically the position of treasurer spelled out. It on the front looks like this guy here. And it's good for another couple of years yet. And as we go through, this is essentially your handbook. This is your Bible. So it gives you some timelines. I'm going to do that for you tonight as well here. Here's our responsibilities page. It goes over how you develop strategic plans, manage the finances. A lot of this is really self-explanatory, but at least here you're going to have a go-to guide on how to handle the certain responsibilities we went over, okay? So please use that. Included that in there. Okay, preparing for your office. Now we are in the swing of things with May into June. What I really would strongly suggest here is that you use this time, if perhaps you're going to be beginning your office in a couple months, use this time to spend a little bit, a couple evenings, pour yourself something to drink, sit down into the My Rotary, go through that page, really just start clicking around. One person, and I'm looking at the chat board, had that question from before, and these are all things that, like, you know, I'll tell you that as a trainer, I certainly don't know everything. I'm not a treasurer. I've never been one. But to do a webinar like this, I have to go through. I click around a little bit, pour myself a glass of wine, and just see, hey, if I were a treasurer, how would I approach this? You go in there, and you'll find that, there's more people just like you. So whatever level you think you're at in Rotary understanding, your prowess is certainly matched by someone else out there, and they'll certainly be able to help you. I'll go through a couple more tools later, but use these next 2 months, well, less than 2 months now, really to click around in there, read your training manuals, get your questions answered, connect with your AGs if need be. Your PEs are going to have a lot going on very quickly, so you could certainly go within the club to get answers to certain questions that might be more specific, but I really encourage you to use your AGs. That's what they're there for, and they can help at least give you an idea of what should be happening, whether or not that's happening at your club level, what should be happening, and then you can blaze the path more correctly moving forward. Once you take office, it's more or less plug and chug at that point. There shouldn't be anything really that's not familiar. The things that are not going to be familiar would be how people are approaching you. They're going to be asking you for questions, and it's just really important you're going to know where to look to give them the answers. You're not going to have all the answers, that's for sure. We all experience that, right? But at least you're going to be able to know where to go for it. This last point is key. Preparing your successor. It's not unreasonable to bring on the 2018-19 treasurer right now. It's not unreasonable to bring on the PN, who will turn into the PE. If you don't know what that means, that's president nominee turning into president-elect. President-elect is the person who becomes president next time. So that would mean in your successor might be the PN. They're gonna in a couple weeks they're gonna be PE. It's not unreasonable to start showing them some of the things that you do so that it'll make their year easier. Remember, the best way to learn something is to really teach it. So what are you going to do right now? After tonight, and you will be able to get a recording of this. There are other recordings on our YouTube channel. I'll show you where that is. You go into YouTube, you just search District 6270, boom, that's going to pop up. Here's a treasurer's webinar that happened in March. There's other secretaries' webinars that have happened, older ones. You can go look at all these. The only downside to those, you wouldn't be able to ask questions on those, but the information is sometimes a little different. You're going to see me as the presenter. However, moving forward, Victor's on tonight because he's kind of hanging out, but he'll be doing some of the webinars. We also have our lead assistant, Heidi Kiwi. She'll be doing some, and then Bertie Kauser is also on our trainers team as well as an assistant trainer. She'll be doing some too. So we'll start to get some new people in here so that you don't have to look at my face and listen to my voice all the time. Hopefully that will help you. So let's go back here. All right. So we want you to review this, after we're done. Go back to your executive board, go to the meeting. Everyone is invited to the executive board meetings, which should be held in your club every month. Just tell them, hey, look, I did the webinar. I learned more about the position that I'm involved with or I'm going to be involved with. I just want you to know that that's what I did. Here's how the leadership happens. They give these quarterly. Really anyone can go to these webinars to be a sounding board. And, I would be acting more as a facilitator. The trainer acts as a facilitator, so any questions can be, ironed out. You can get solutions to your problems. And just let them know that you did that, okay? Then, I want you to prepare your current board to designate you as a club officer if they haven't already done that. I hope I helped before when I tried to go in there and see. You're an officer if you can start editing information. If you can't, get that designation. And that's going to be right through Club Central. That's where you're going to find that. Use what you're learning right now. Go back and start clicking around like we talked about. Join a discussion group. Okay, so this is a really great idea that RI had in putting together. Let's go back to your page in My Rotary. Right in, as you scroll down, you're going to be able to check out the discussion groups. If you were to click on that, all right, website's kind of slow. But if you were to click on that, you would see right here, you could find a group as, let's say, Club Treasurer. And you could search that. Let's see what it gives us. And there you go. You can join an 80-member resource team that has treasurer role tips. You can join a 109-member team in leadership and continuity. So by joining these chat rooms, you can, be a sounding board. You can, get answers to your questions as well like that. If you don't like this format, there is always that for you. We talked about going up the ladder to your assistant governor. Attending the webinar like you're doing, awesome. And if you're not going to be treasurer for a while or just, want to find out what it's about, start shadowing people. Just start being a fly on the wall. I'm sure nobody's going to tell you to leave the room if you say, hey, I want to learn more about this position. Looking ahead, you're going to hit the ground running if you're going to be the club treasurer. I'm sorry, that's a typo. I'm thinking from a trainer mind. But you're going to execute the duties of the club treasurer as we discussed. The month-to-month checkups are really important. It'll be explained in your manual, in your handbook. So do go through that. We talked about you being your PE's financial chief of staff, which is going to be the president's chief of staff. There's word in here about find your own club trainer. I can't stress how important this is. You have a team now at the district level, and we've gotten through that in our visioning that said, look, we need to have more people giving information out more times, better ways for the clubs to access it. We have six fall seminars at this point instead of one. Those were called those One Rotary Summits that we started last year. I could tell you that we're already in the planning stages for this fall. They begin September 27th. They go as far as November 15th, I believe. So this fall, you're going to have 6 different opportunities depending on your geographical location. We're going to make it real easy. Nobody's going to have to drive more than 20, 25 minutes to get to one. Doesn't mean you can't go to more. But we've got so much put together for you. Very easy to access information. We're now high tech, high touch. Things are going great in that regard. And because of that, it would behoove your club to have its own trainer so that they can disseminate the information properly. Things can get confusing. So much information gets lost between the cracks when we don't have a go-to person, and the presidents are going to be inundated with all the work that they're supposed to be doing. There are so many emails that go out that I can tell you as trainer. So many emails go out where the president is supposed to notify the club, and the ball gets dropped. So by having a trainer, it would be like a safeguard against that. Plus, they would act as the PE's chief of staff as well. Preparing your own responsibilities on a monthly scale, we talked about that. Identifying a why as a Rotarian. I just want to spend 1 minute on that. Your role as treasurer. Look, we all have reasons we do what we do within the clubs. We do good things because it makes us feel good, right? Now, that doesn't mean it's always going to be cake and ice cream. We certainly have our days as trainers, and I'm sure you're going to have days as treasurers as well. But your worst day as a treasurer can still be better than your best day as a non-Rotarian if you have a why. The deep-seated reason for wanting to serve. You're using your gifts in this club role or whatever club role you have. You'll be moving on and using your gifts in other ways in other parts of the club. But please develop that really strongly. Be very clear on what your why is, because you are going to attract other like-minded people. You are going to attract a competent level of succession in your club, and it's going to do nothing but re-engage members and make your club better and better. And you will never see numbers dwindle, but rather you'll see them increase consistently year after year. I did include Form 245, Be a Vibrant Club, in your handouts. It looks like, what does it look like? Let's open it. Be a Vibrant Club, there it is. Right here. Looks like this. Go through this. This can really help you develop a personal why and bring it to the club at the club level and help the club identify its why within your community. Such a great document. We give this out at every training that we do, definitely the One Rotary Summits. So that's there for you as well. This was kind of your, with the exception of one typo, sorry about that, kind of your syllabus. And I showed you a number of the other resources you have through my Rotary, through your YouTube channel. We do have a Facebook page, District 6270. If you haven't liked it and follow it, please do. You've got a great feed on everything happening. Here's a great post on one of the many things that are going to be happening, the many activities, different dinners, different tours for the coming district conference. Be there, down at Pato, put some money down, win some money, maybe lose some money, well, whatever. It'll be fun. And then finally, I wanted to direct you to the Rotary webpage, the 6270 Rotary webpage. We have our own district webpage. So if you just go to rotary6270.org, you will see the homepage here, and a lot of the links you might need are down on the bottom right. So I just wanted to show you this, that a lot of the things you may need are found there. You can even find the brochure for the coming district conference in a couple of weeks. All of the wonderful things planned are here. That's all I've got for you for tonight, guys. I'd like to open it up to anybody who has any questions, concerns, tips for me. You can unmute yourself if you like. If you've called in, you should have received an audio pin to where you can mute or unmute yourself. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? What can we help you with tonight? I'm reading the chat. Oh, it says good job. Thank you. Hey, thank you. Looks like that was Victor. Victor, are you trying to grease me? We haven't brought you through your hazing yet as new assistant district trainer, so maybe I'll be a little nicer to you. Maybe not. We'll see. Part of the hazing, I guess. Oh, he says never. Never. You guys, thank you for logging in tonight. We got somebody? Hello?
Nope, sorry, that was me.
Oh, okay. So the reason we do these, I'll hang on for just a couple minutes if anybody wants to chime in, anything we can help them with, anything I haven't been clear on. We're trying to do these every quarter. We do have them scheduled through 2017. We do not have the 2018 schedule yet, but that will be coming as we bring our newest trainers up to speed. We've had an influx of new assistants just in the past half a year. And so this is new to the district, part of our visioning. And as soon as we get those schedules, we'll make those available for you. And where will we make those available? Rotary6270.org, District 6270 Facebook, and places like that. Your AG will tell you about it. Hopefully your president will tell you about it. So stay tuned, stay live, be invigorated, enjoy. I'm going to end the webinar. If we don't have anyone else needs to chime in, thank you guys very much. You will receive an email tomorrow with the recording link. And also, if you check tomorrow, the recording should be uploaded to the YouTube page as well. If you have any comments, please reply to that email. We do read them all. And if there are any concerns, we do give attention to them all. So have a wonderful rest of the night, and we'll see you on the next webinar, June 20th, Secretary's Training.
Hey, have a good night, TJ. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.